Right, this video is in response to an email I got from David from all the way from Perth. He's a ventilation guy, HVAC, they call it, I think. And Dave says, listen, I've been watching your videos for a while. Do you have any videos that shows us how to flash around rectangular penetrations? Because obviously they've got a lot of ducts that go through roofs and they've all got to be flashed properly. And he says, we've got a lot of different ideas about how the best way to flash a rectangular penetration, and it's kind of a minefield out there, so we would like your thoughts about how we should flash a penetration. Now, my first response to him was, it's a fairly complicated flashing, a curve flashing, and you really should get a roofer to do it rather than let your air conditioning guys do it. And his response was, yes, ideally I'll get a roofer to do it, but it's bloody hard to get a good roofer nowadays to work in with our guys to do all this flashing. So I'm kind of looking at, is there a simple way to do a penetration to a air conditioning duct and dry pan it? Okay, David, there's two ways to do it. One, a simple way, and two, the complicated way. So firstly, I'll go through the simple way. Now, rectangular penetrations through roofs aren't something that air conditioning guys have to put up with. The skylights are all rectangular in shape and they all have to be waterproof, and most of them should be dry pan. Same with chimneys. So it's not a problem that you have specifically in the air conditioning business. So how do skylight guys deal with flashing around those square penetrations that they cut in to put skylights in? Well, here in Sydney, we've got a few places to go to, and there is a company called Skyspan, and there's the Skylight Warehouse, the Shire Skylights, and both of these companies supply the standard bases, and they can also custom make if upon request. So if you've got a roof that is more than 3 or 4 degrees, you may consider using a pitch adapter so that you can install your air conditioning ducts vertically. And if you think creating a flashing around a penetration that is almost horizontal on the roof is difficult, try doing one on a pitch. It's not something that most roofers do every day. So the easy answer, if you've got a pitch roof and you want to install your air conditioning ducts vertical, is to get a skylight base from one of these skylight companies to suit the pitch of the roof. Let's have a look at this skylight base from Skyspan. It's so-called a pitch adapter. And the reason for the pitch adapter is that they want to install a standard Velux skylight on a minimum pitch. So the skylights are the pitch and the roof is not pitched sufficiently. So they got to increase the pitch of the base to achieve the required pitch of the Velux skylight. But from an air conditioning point of view, you can do it the opposite way. You can tilt it the other way and use it to adapt from a pitch roof to a vertical stack. So done in reverse. So if you've got a steep roof and you want to have an easy way of putting a penetration in, then you would get a custom base and put that in, and the dry panning is quite a simple procedure. There's no complicated flashings. It's a straight dry pan. You lap it onto the base and Bob's your uncle. So if you have a look at this typical situation on a roof here that we looked at in Sydney, and they're all dry pan, but the bases are all custom bases done by a roofer. Now, as an air conditioning guy, if you wanted to do everything yourself, you get one of these custom bases from a skylight guy, put that in, and then do the dry pan yourself, and it's quite a simple exercise. So that's the simple way. Now, what's the complicated way? Well, the complicated way is to do it like most roofers would do it. So I'll go through a procedure now how we would do a penetration for a skylight, an air conditioning duct, or a chimney. They're all the same. So this is typically what we would do to do a flashing around a rectangular penetration. Now it's going to be a reasonably long video, but there are a few basic rules that you learn from these videos that will help you understand the logic behind how we do flashings to our rectangular penetrations. And once you boil these things down to first principles, then it's a lot easier to understand and it's a lot easier to put together, and also something quite simple for you to train your guys with. Right, we're going to have a look at how to flash around a rectangular penetration on a roof, and I'm trying to make this as simple as possible because it's quite a complicated flashing. So the guys at, say, Shire Skylights here in Sydney have got this really down pat because a lot of the Velux skylights come with a base where you can tray up to, and this is typically what they would do for their Velux skylights. So there's a few important things to look at here. I'm going to just do the three sides, the bottom, the side and the top. To look at here, I've marked most of the cut lines out, and what you've got to look at is on the bottom flashing, you always start at the bottom, work to the side and to the top. You'll see that the bottom is symmetrical, that's a center line, and it's a mirror image. Now if you go to the side flashing, you know that there's an asymmetry in there, so if you were to put a line in the middle, they are not exactly the same. And the top flashing would be similar to the bottom flashing. If you were to do the other side, the top flashing would be same as the bottom flashing, symmetrical. So one thing about symmetry, top and bottom symmetrical, and the two sides are not. Now there is another important measurement as a baseline measurement here, and this is this little purple line. And the reason for the purple line is this. This is based on the width of the flashing. So if you use that here as the width of the flashing, then that matches up. See that there, the purple lines are all the width of the flashings. If you were to go and use that as the width of the flashing, then the purple line goes to there and all the lines start from that point. So you'll see that I'm starting there, so that's the width of the flashing. So that's the reason that we have this purple line, and that is the width of the flashings. That there then forms a very important point, because for the bottom flashing, this is where the fold line starts. So the dotted lines are fold line, and between the fold lines is the width of the penetration. Now we're going to look at the cut lines here. The cut lines are done in bold, and this is where we do the cut. I often go 20 mil back and 20 mil there, and this then becomes my cut. So the 45-degree angle based on the purple line would start here and come back here. The reason we've stepped it back is this zone becomes our lap zone, because this flashing laps onto that flashing by the 20 mils. So you can increase that if you like. This is what I've chosen as the lap zone. So this is what the bottom flashing looks like. This gets cut away and thrown away. Side flashing, very similar. This is the width of the flashing, the purple line there. And because of the cut, we're going on a diagonal right to this corner. And because this is a different cut, because we've got a fold in there, there's no fold on the bottom, one fold. This goes out and it's 20 mil apart, and this becomes another lap zone. There's no lap in here because this laps onto that. And now we'll look at the top flashing. I've only done one side, the purple line, and this line now is not a 45-degree angle line because we're matching that up to the cut here and not this corner. And when I do the cuts, it'll become clear why the cuts are done this way. Right, this mark out is for a penetration that is dead horizontal. Now all roofs have a bit of a slant on them, so if you choose to have the penetration flashings parallel to the roof, this is what you would do. All these lines are perpendicular lines. Now, if you were to put a pitch on the roof and have the upstands on a vertical, obviously then you change that angle. That then becomes your cut line. It will be at an angle, whatever that angle is. As the angle increases, so you put your spirit level in here, and this is how you would do this cut, right here and right there. Okay, now that's the fold line. We've done the cut line. And now we'll fold this back. Alright, so that's the detail of this fold in here. Right. And the idea now is that this side comes and cuts into there. So we're going to cut the sides. So there we are. So you've got that's so you can put silicone goes in there, and that goes in this corner. There are pop rivets there and seal underneath, and then you can run a bit of sealant right in the corner and you'll have excess sealant coming out of there. So this makes for a really good tight corner because you've got a lot of meat in there to seal and put pop rivets in. So that's the reason why we've got this little triangle, and makes it a lot more waterproof. Right, so we're going to do the other cut on the side. So now we've cut the side. That's the bottom already done. That's top, and this is going to be where that laps into there. So first principles always start from the bottom. Bottom goes first, the side laps onto the bottom section, and then once the sides are done, the top then laps onto the side. Now we're going to cut the top. Right, so this is the top piece. So we've only cut one side, demonstrate. So we've got, as we've seen down the bottom, there's plenty of area here for silicone to be applied. Silicone goes there. You've got silicone there, right, and that is your penetration. It goes in there, that's your width, and that's your length. And you've got this little wing in there, seal there, and then you can put your silicone right there. And that means that you've got plenty of silicone in the corner. The critical corners have got plenty of silicone, and you won't get any leaks in the corner. So that's how rectangular penetrations are put together. So there we are. We looked at the two solutions to flashing around rectangular penetrations, an easy one and the difficult one. And my recommendation is to choose the easy one. It might cost you a bit more to get the custom base made up. It means that the complicated work has all been done for you, and therefore a lot less risk of leaks around your penetrations.